Hi, this is Jo, and today I'm with Vanessa Challess from Tiger Law, and Vanessa is going to tell us all about her way of doing conveyancing in a marketplace where conveyancing usually takes forever. Hi Vanessa, nice to meet you.
Hi Jo, thanks for coming to speak to me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. So tell us a little bit about your history, what you do and how we got to where you are now.
Okay, so I've been a solicitor for about 20 years. My background's commercial litigation, and that is very chop, deadline orientated, and you're already looking after aggravated clients. So it's just being very aware that you've got to be focused on the client, timelines and managing expectations. I started my own legal consultancy 8 years ago this month.
Wow, congratulations.
Monday, I think.
Wow.
And within a couple of years, we had a team of 4 or 5, and we were starting to get requests for property work. So I needed to start a law firm, and that's when I started Tiger Law. Immediately, we started getting commercial property over the desks, but I was never interested in residential. Because having seen the departments, how it runs, how it works, how the firm views conveyancing, generally it's not glamorous, well paid, and therefore invested in by law firms.
So what changed for you then?
So what changed? Our niche market really were other owner-managers and founders, and they would invest in property, cash purchases or selling a property, declarations of trust, stuff like that, which involved land registry applications. And my PA, who started with me in year 1, started to assist on the land registry stuff. She became increasingly interested in it, much to my amazement, and decided that she wanted to train into it. So she's now heading up residential property.
Fantastic.
She's hands down the best conveyancer I've ever seen.
Brilliant.
In 20 years. Yeah. Just love her. She's got none of the bad habits that come from traditional practice. So when COVID hit, I thought, what am I going to do if SME clients want to sit on their hands waiting to see what happens with the economy? I need some bread and butter type services for the firm. So we started taking conveyancing a lot more seriously.
Well, especially as we were coming out of lockdown, it went mad, didn't it?
Yeah, and the stamp duty holiday and those sorts of things. So we got our Law Society accreditation, we went on the lender panels, we learnt more and more about how to market, developed a network of brokers and agents, and along the way I had an interest in tech, always. So I started designing building terms and conditions via conditional logic forms, and it seemed to me that the admin involved in conveyancing was just ripe for redesigning.
Yeah, because as an estate agent, you get a sale agreed and everybody likes the price, and then we have to wait. Then the seller fills in all the, well, if they've actually appointed a lawyer, they start filling in the forms, and that's where you have changed it.
Yes. So out of doing terms and conditions and shareholders agreements, it seemed to me that if buyers' solicitors only ever wanted to look at the Law Society protocol forms in their standard format, we needed to work backwards from them so that we would produce a pack which was acceptable to the buyers. So we turned all of the questions in all of the forms into plain English, populated a chatbot that feels like having a conversation. It misses out stuff which is irrelevant to you as a seller and the property, and it's building the protocol forms in the background.
So without you even realising it, without having to sit at your kitchen table and think, I don't want to do those forms because they're long and they're complicated. I do it automatically, you know?
Yeah, you can do it on your phone. You can take a picture of your double glazing guarantee and upload it. It builds the pack. And it means that about 4 to 6 weeks worth of work for a selling conveyancer is gone. They're not onboarding the client in the normal way. We've got the chatbot runs from start to finish, welcome email all the way through. The client doesn't even know that they're answering the PDFs.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing.
And they're non-editable PDFs. The clients either get them as hard copies and left with them on their kitchen table struggling with what does an easement mean. I don't know who's responsible for that fence. Sending it back half complete, 2 weeks for the conveyancer to have a look through and go, well, they didn't answer page 17, sending it back. And not being able to pick up the phone and speak to a conveyancer because they're busy looking at what boxes you've ticked and all the other clients. So it's just gone.
And that's when buyers tend to get a bit, well, in fact, what happens is a buyer says, yeah, I've got a property, and then they wait because the buyer solicitor can't do anything until they've received all those forms.
That's right.
And then the buyer is still getting alerts on new properties coming in from Rightmove and Zoopla, and they've got time to look around. So they've got time to get fed up with the purchase and go on to something else, which is massively frustrating for everybody involved. You also mentioned, though, the anti-money laundering thing as well. What's coming next for your tech?
Yeah, well, with our case management system, which has allowed us to lift the bonnet and integrate our tech in, we're also partnering up with other new tech startups who are really going places with this. So for buyers, we have to look at source of funds.
Yeah.
For sellers, we need to get through the protocol chatbot. Now, instead of having people jumping in and out of different systems, it's all going to be integrated into the same experience for the client. So they'll get the welcome email, they'll go through anti-money laundering with biometric checks. If they're buyers, they'll go straight through to source of funds. If they're sellers, they'll do the AML and go straight through to the chatbot that completes protocol forms. At the end of that, without the conveyancer having lifted a finger, they'll have a fully compliant, open and populated matter in the case management system. There you go,
Wow.
6 weeks, done.
Wow. And that just makes life easier for the conveyancer, for the estate agent, for the seller, the buyer, and the buyer's solicitor, who has to have those protocol forms filled in according to the Law Society.
What we also try and do is do a dummy run of what the buying solicitor might raise as inquiries. So we stress test the sale. So if we see gaps, we know that they're going to be raised as inquiries. Let's preempt those inquiries. Let's create as full a pack as possible so that the buyer solicitor gets it all on a plate.
Nice, very nice. You also mentioned that you do a report, a dummy report.
Yes, that, exactly. So Rebecca, my head of conveyancing, knows what's going to be raised by the buyer's solicitor. She buys and sells, so she knows what's coming. She's able to speak to the seller immediately or the agent, get the information and make sure that it's provided with the protocol forms if the protocol forms don't cover that particular topic. But primarily my interest is in getting this chatbot into estate agents' offices. Okay. As you front load the work and you're onboarding your own sellers, that could just run seamlessly into completing the legal pack, like a hip light, I guess. And the Law Society is focusing on gathering as much information at the outset as possible. Solicitors aren't compelled to change the way they work. We spoke about the monopoly over the process.
Yeah.
I think let consumers vote with their feet. If they know that estate agents are preparing the sale, the buyers are not going to have to wait. Let's close the gap between offer and exchange.
Definitely, definitely.
Can I tell you about our best one?
Go on, please do.
This is so exciting.
So it's the best example you've had of it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we had a pair of clients who wanted to flip houses essentially. So it was a probate sale in an estate agent's office, no chain, admittedly. I was instructed to make an offer via the estate agent to say, if your clients use this tech to complete the legal pack and use us to do their conveyancing, our clients will cover the legal costs, but also they'll have their money in under a week. We'll get it done.
You did it in under a week?
Yes. Now, we did it in 3 days. We got a no local search indemnity policy, very commercial clients. That won't suit everyone, but you can take a view, because houses don't move that much. You can take a view on what actually will come up in the local search. We have partners that can produce most of what a local authority search would produce anyway. So we can do that
in
dummy
any
report.
local authority or in the ones that you know?
No, I think it's national. Cool. You can get more information in some areas of the country, but you can definitely do a lot of the groundwork. So had our clients got the funds to us for the purchase before this, we would have gone Friday, keys on Wednesday. In fact, we went Friday to Friday because we were waiting on the funds, but we were ready to go.
Fantastic. I mean, as estate agents, that is music to my ears, because we do advise our clients to be sale ready, i.e. get your forms filled in, instruct your solicitor and be ready to go, so that when a buyer is in place, they send it straight out, and the buyer doesn't have time to get annoyed with the time that they're waiting, look at other properties. They are then financially committed by putting money on the table for their searches and instructing their solicitor. So what next then, Vanessa?
So, having done this at Tiger and piloted, and we're constantly finessing and improving and integrating, we found that we were up against traditional conveyancing on the other side, so held to ransom somewhat time-wise. And I cleared it with the SRA. I thought, well, let's open another law firm. So that's what we've done. So we have a second law firm called Pixie Moves, which is pure residential. It's currently focusing on sales because it takes so long to get on panels and the rest of it, but that works well. And it's pure resi. It's doing a lot of auction work because it's set up to go so quickly that we can work with auction houses. We're getting panel managers and auction houses sending us all their work. Fantastic. And ultimately...
Because when you commit to an auction property, you commit to a timescale as well, don't you?
Absolutely, exchanges on the day. Do you know how many conveyancers still ask for the contract prior to completion when their clients already exchanged at auction? It's astonishing.
No.
Yeah, really. And asking inquiries.
So they make them go through another contract?
Well, no, we say no. So
Love it.
the groundwork for the buyer is before the auction. That's when you see the property raise inquiries and the rest of it. Once you have exchanged, you're committed, and we can serve a notice to complete on day 20 if they don't hit it. But you get solicitors trying to raise rafts of standard inquiries after the auction. We say, nope, we'll answer bits that we can, but your client's committed to complete. And we're doing our first triangle for a developer, which is really exciting. So Pixie is acting for the developer, buying the site. There will be more than 50 units on it. So it will be selling the individual units to buyers, and Tiger will be able to act for the individual buyers who are buying from the developer with the mortgages, because Tiger's on all the lender panels. So because it's using the same tech, there's no sharing of confidential information or anything like that. But just in terms of process and communication, the local searches, the sales packs, everything will be ready. The buyers will
be ready. Fantastic. Vanessa, that's amazing. Thank you so much for taking me through all of it. I'm so looking forward to being able to work with you, and I will take it further for you as well.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, Jo.
It's a pleasure.